Okay, let's turn that off. How you guys doing? All right. What is happening? I don't even know. Don't ask me. Good to see everyone. All right, we're back in the new studio, and I'm trying it. I'm trying something new today. I want to get your feedback on this. Am I okay? I'm using a different mic to speak at you in this show, and I just wanted to know, how does it sound? Because usually I switch back and forth between this mic, which is my shotgun mic, and this mic, which is my instrument mic. They're both right up here, but maybe you can tell the sound is a little different. I just want to get your feedback. So instrument mic, this one, or shotgun mic, this mic for talking. It's a little tighter sound, right? It's like aimed right at me. As opposed to this one, which is more in the room. But I still think it sounds pretty good. What do you think? Anyway, that's another question. Let me know. A shotgun or instrument mic preference? Let's say hello. Roseanne's here nice and early. We missed you last week, Roseanne, but glad you're back and glad you're feeling okay. I assume the vertigo is gone, which hopefully is good, and that's behind you. Urban Dervish is here. Jesse James, welcome. Sienna and Sue, welcome back. Nice to see you as always. Neil and Cornelius has made it. Hello, great to see you. And Daryl, good evening. You got a gig on Saturday, and thanks to your channel. Okay. Good. Does that mean you got a gig because of my channel? That would be nice. But either way, I appreciate the shout out and the welcome, the thank yous. Rhythmic Mexico, and we'll talk about the chord progression in a second. Pretty simple, popular. Drummer Drew's here. All right. Nice to see you. Thanks for showing up. And Hamster of the Apocalypse. You made it. I was hoping. Best screen name yet. So yeah, you guys, what do you think? Just a little. I just like to get a little feedback on the sound. That's all. But I have been working to get my studio together. I hope you enjoyed it. And there's a couple new things, and let me show you. So one is a buddy of mine, is a fellow. Well, he's a musician, sax player, flute player. Jody Marlowe. Shout out to Jody. He gave me this thing. This is new. I don't want to handle it too much because I might unplug something. This is called a Line 6 Pod X3, and it's just an effects processor. But I wanted to get something. I was talking to him about the channel, and I thought, I said, I'm looking for just a little something so I can add some, some textures to the ukulele or other things. Right now, I just have the ukulele hooked up to it. But what that thing is it's like a multi-effects. It's a multi-effects processor geared towards guitar players. So you know how you guys probably know. You look down below any guitar player in a band, right? Usually in a band. I mean, maybe they're by themselves, but usually it's electric guitar, and they've got like a zillion pedals. They've got that whole board with all the pedals. And what this thing tries to emulate, and it does an okay job. It's a little cheesy if you ask me, but it does an okay job in emulating a bunch of different pedals. So there's like chorus, distortion, flanger, reverb, amp modeling, echoes, all kinds of different things. And they're all in here. And then you can adjust some of the parameters, like on the fly. It's not super simple, but there's presets. And, so I plugged in the ukulele to it, and I'll just give you a quick sample. Let me turn it back on. So I'm going to turn down my talking mic a little bit. Right? So this is like a chorusy sound. But check it out. So I could press this button. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and then there's different settings. 'Cause, you know, I want, I'm looking for just a little something so I can add some, I don't know, some textures to the ukulele or other things. Right now, I just have the ukulele hooked up to it, and so this is like a multi-effects doing anything. What is happening? Some of these are really sensitive. You know what's happening is it's like, it's getting picked up in the ukulele pickup, like even my voice, like hello, 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 hello. That's a little too much. Anyway, I'm gonna turn the volume down a little. That's better. So these are just different sounds. That's enough of that, I think. Let me try to find something nice. Let's leave it right here for now, even though it sounds pretty thin. It's kind of a thin sound going on. Anyway, that's that. So new toy. I don't really fully know how to use it yet. I'm sort of still in the, just trying things out and turning knobs and pressing the buttons and stuff. But anyway, that's new. And then I did hook up my metronome over here, so I have it now for making videos. And I just made a new video on cajon. Maybe some of you have seen it. I might talk about that during the show today, where I did I like to do this kind of pattern on the cajon, where you're kind of like, something like that. And so I made a video on that. I just posted it a couple hours ago. So if that's of interest to you, something like that, it's like a triplet pattern. And you don't have to play it fast, but it's kind of it's like an exercise, groove, soloing thing. You can use it for fills, you can use it for playing rhythms, and it's kind of useful, I think, and musical. So that's what that is. Let me see if you guys posted. Okay, Sue said it's same as the sound. Shotgun mic gets a vote. Roseanne says the instrument mic sounds great. Yeah, I think so too. It sounds pretty good, and that way, I mean, they both sound good, right? They're both good mics, but the reason I would use the instrument mic is because I don't have to change back and forth. I can just play and talk like I'm doing right now. I can play and talk and demonstrate. Because the shotgun mic, the thing about the shotgun is that it really doesn't sound good on the instruments. It's not made for the instruments, and it's made for voice. So even though when I'm talking, the shotgun mic the shotgun sounds good, right? It sounds real clean and clear. However, if I go and play cajon, it's kind of like really, really sharp, and it doesn't have a lot of bass, as opposed to, you hear that? You hear how the bass is fuller, and then the high end isn't like super crunchy, overly crisp. So that's why I would use this one mic more often. But I don't mind switching. If I'm going to do a lot of talking, I would probably switch mics, which is what I've traditionally done. All right. Any other votes on the mics? Nah? Anybody? All right. Well, I'm just glad everything's working. So I got the Line 6, the pod thing hooked up. I also, not that you guys can even see it or care, but I hung my main camera from the ceiling. It's coming down. I use plumbing, like gas plumbing pipes. And I have all these clamps, and then I also, and I'm just excited about this because I like to nerd out on the gear, I also put my monitor that I usually have on a little music stand, which is my video monitor, so I can see all my cameras, and I put it right below the camera. So now I'm looking at the monitor, it's right there, and the camera's right there, and they're both coming down from the ceiling. And all the wires and all the mics and all the lights are all up in the ceiling. And there's no stands down here. The only stands are right here in the in this stuff, which is the looper and the mixer and the video switcher, and then my computer is right here, which you can't really see it, but I have my laptop. You can see it here. It's right here. So yeah, so I'm kind of excited about the studio. Anybody have any news that they want to share? Anything happening? I'll talk about the opening groove. I was kind of just feeling, I don't know, feeling like sometimes you need to rock out a little bit. It wasn't like heavy or anything, but sometimes you just want to like have a simple groove. I feel like that's what we need right now. It's just like a steady, simple groove, you know? And so that's what rock is really good for. Like rock and roll, it can be intellectual, but I think, and this is just my opinion right now, I think one of the things that's great about rock music is that it's just very grounding, you know? It just got the beat, right? It's got the doom, 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 da. I mean, a good rock beat, right? That's all you need. Literally, we will rock you, right? So it's kind of feeling like, I don't know, I needed that for myself. I don't know about you guys, and I'm not going to get into details, but it's been a little bit of a topsy-turvy week. For some, maybe not for all people. But I kind of was feeling the rock vibe today, so I thought, I'll just try. And then it gave me an excuse to have fun with the ukulele and put some effects on it. So what were we playing? We're playing a really simple chord progression. I'm just going to use the regular ukulele sound right now. And yeah, back to basics is always good. That's what Jesse James wrote. And sometimes, yeah, you guys, I mean, look, most of the stuff I play is pretty basic, and I just try to play it, you know, decently well, like good enough, right? Good enough is good enough. And that's kind of my mantra, like just get something done. Doesn't have to be perfect. Perfectionism is the enemy of productivity. All right? It's the enemy of productivity. So I was playing this chord progression. It should sound pretty familiar. It's in about a zillion song. So this is C, G, A minor, F, C, G, A minor, F, C. Right? So we call that the pop progression. There are lots of variations of it. You can mix and match. But it's basically a 1 chord, a 5 chord, 6 chord, and a 4 chord, right? Right? Zillions of songs. You can look it up. There's also, you know, some nice variations on this progression. You can just you can basically start anywhere in this progression. Like I'll just pick a random, I'll just do 6, 6, 1, 4, 5. All right, 6, 1, 4, 5. Any numbers. You could do like 1, let's do 1, 1, 4, 5, 6. One, 5, 1, 5, 4, 6. Really versatile chord progression. So you guys can, maybe we can use that for the Gimme 5, and if you want to have ukulele in the Gimme 5 later, why don't you pick a chord progression that's similar to one of those, like we've got 1, 4, 5, and 6 chords. So if you want, stick with those. I don't mind if you put in 3s and 2s and just no 7s, all right? No 7s. Gotta go easy on me. Nobody really uses the 7 chord anyway. It's a diminished chord in the major scale, so we don't really use it much. So if you want to use a 7 chord, use a 5 chord instead, all right? And then we're in business, all right? So I hope that answers your question. And so actually, Roseanne, you asked about Pachelbel's canon. Pachelbel's canon, and I'm going to probably get this wrong, but actually Pachelbel's canon is a lot longer, and it does use the 3 chord. And can I remember it right now? I don't think so. No, I can't remember it, but I know it uses a 3 chord. I can't, because I can't remember the melody right now. No, I've got like Let It Be stuck in my head. But somebody look it up and let me know, and I'll play it for you. Look at Pachelbel's canon chord progression, and yeah, we can do it. Maybe we can play that later. It's a nice progression. Cornelius wants 1 5 6 2. 1 5 6 2. All right. So we could do a 1 2 6 5. No, 1 6 2 5, which is a common jazz progression, right? 1 6 2 5. Right? Yeah. I really like different chord progressions because they're all, they're so useful, and there's so many that are just a little different, but so many of them have just that familiarity, All right. Yeah, it does sound like Let It Be from the Beatles, because it is, at least the first part. And then the second part goes to the A minor first chord, and it's almost the same progression, but instead of the 1 chord, they start on the 6 chord. So when it goes to Let It Be, let it be, let it be, let it be, oh, let it be. Something like that. And Drummer Drew has a question. Yeah, the tongue drum I was playing is called a tinkatong, and it's actually a D minor tinkatong. So that's why I was spending a little bit of time to experiment with that. Try to get it in focus here. I have the focus way down on the cajon, so when I hold this up, it goes a little out, but you can kind of see it there, right? So this instrument has 6 notes, and it's oriented to D minor, but any instrument, you can always find a few notes that work, right? So I don't even know. That's a G. Let's see. So that's an A and a C right here. That's an E, I believe. So yeah, so that's that. And that's made by Feeltone. And Feeltone makes the tinkatongs. They make the string instruments that I use, the monolini and also monochords. And Feeltone also they make a lot of stuff that's like, mostly wood. They work a lot with wood. So the tinkatongs, tongue drums, and then a lot of the sound healing kind of stuff, like these chairs and tables, and they make some log drums or tongue drums that are like this. You guys should go to their website and look. Go to We Play Well Together later or now if you want and look at. They make something like this, but it's literally a table that you lay down on. So it's about 8 times bigger than, maybe not 8, okay, at least 4 times bigger than this. It's giant, and you can lay down on it, and it has really low bass notes. Pretty cool stuff. So that's what that is. And then We Play Well Together. They also import the Hokama kalimbas, and they import these, which is the koshi chimes. We like the koshi chimes. They also import the metal sounds instruments, so the Zenko steel tongue drum, and also the metal sounds hand pans, which they call space drums. So the hand pans, I like the one I was playing last week, they import those. So a lot of stuff. We Play Well Together. They're a friend of the channel and of this show, so go support them if you get a chance. All right. Any other questions? Yeah. I like the wooden tongue drums a lot. And Roseanne just posted weplaywelltogether.com. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, they're great people too. They're super nice. Like all the people, all the instruments that they bring in, all the companies are awesome. They just make really nice stuff, and it's good quality. It's it's not factory made, even though they have workshops, but all the instruments are made by legit like instrument maker people. So they know what they're making, which I think is important when you're making musical instruments. And B, Gabrielle, the curator and owner of We Play Well Together, she brings all these things together, and then she coordinates with all of them, all the different makers, because there's about 4 or 5 different companies that she's actually bringing under one roof, and then she helps coordinate all of them so that their instruments play well together, right? They've coordinated like these different collections. In fact, right now they've got 4 collections, and they're each named after an element. So the water collection is D minor, and then they've got the earth collection, the fire connection, and the wind. Is it wind? Am I missing? I don't know if they call it wind. Water, earth, fire, air, I guess. Yeah. And it's like D minor, A minor, C major, F major, I think. Something like that. I could have that part wrong. I don't know. I just have the water instruments, the D minor, because that's kind of what works for me. All right. So Cornelius, are you asking plastic or fiberglass weirdo? Or are you asking like what my preference is? Or if I prefer the natural weirdos. But what's your question exactly? All right, Charlie's here. Good day. And I'm glad you're getting some chores done. That's awesome. And look at Roseanne's post, because she said she has the aqua set. They call, aqua, not water. So fancy. Tinkatong, Zephyr chime, Koshi chime, and a B9 kalimba. Yeah. I've got a kalimba over there. I don't usually play it a lot because I have to like put it on something to hear it. It doesn't compete really well with a lot of the other instruments that I usually play because it's so quiet, but I will use it sometimes. I like to take the solid body kalimbas and put them on a table or a drum or something, or just a box, so that they increase the resonance, and you can do that too. Cornelius is asking which one is better between fiberglass and plastic. Is that the question? It depends on the plastic. I think I don't know. I'd have to hear him. I think fiberglass might be a little better, and I'll tell you why. Because fiberglass is more like it's fibers, right? So it is more like an actual gourd instrument, which is also fibers, which is made of fibers. And because the plastic is so homogeneous, and if it's got like a hard plastic that has its own resonance, then you can actually end up hearing more of the body of the instrument you hear more of the plasticiness, right? Instead of hearing just the scraping sound. Like for me, when I play a güiro, I don't want to hear the thing like resonating. I want to just hear more of the scraping and maybe a little bit of a hollow sound, but I don't want to hear the actual material, if that makes sense. I don't want to be hearing plastic, So I think fiberglass might work better in that case, but ultimately I'd have to hear them because I'm only guessing right now, But I think fiberglass would also be stronger, I believe. But again, it depends on what plastic are we talking about. How is it made? How thick is it? What's the construction like? There's other factors that go in besides just the material. But that would be, without knowing anything else, that's my opinion. All right. Yeah, and actually, I'm glad you guys brought up the rubber mallets. I realize I have a bunch of mallets right over there. Sometimes I grab stuff and set up without thinking every single thing through. Like maybe I should have a mallet to play the tongue drum. But I actually like playing these with my hands, you guys. I like to... And you can even use your whole hand on these. Like sometimes I'll just... Right? Just play it like a chord. So I got my ring on that finger. But you can just slap these things. Right? And just kind of go for it. Or you can get mallets and, play back and forth. But so I like to play them both ways. There's no real wrong way to play these. All right. Does anybody want to know about anything else that I played in the opening music? I can't believe nobody's commented on that instrument. Anybody? You're welcome for the answer. And Roseanne says she has a Mino plastic güiro. It's a very chunky sound. No subtlety to it. Yeah. No subtlety at all. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it's pretty loud. Yeah, so if you're going to use like a plastic güiro, stand back. Stand away. Move away from the mic. Yeah, a little bit of those goes a long way. So, I mean, I'm not saying they're bad. I have a plastic güiro somewhere around here. I think it's a Tycoon. They're fine. I mean, it's a güiro. So, and if you drop it, who cares, right? It doesn't matter. But I do like that organic one I have. That's a legit, güiro. And it's well made and it sounds great. So, okay. So thanks, Roseanne, for asking. So the horn thing, but right before I did this, I went through some of my bins, and I was like, I need a tambourine. I need a tambourine because when you're doing, where is it? Right? When you got a little rock beat going, you need the tambourine to accompany. So I thought I'll break out the tambourine. This honestly isn't my favorite tambourine. But anyway, the point is, back to the story. I saw this in the bin and I thought I'll just grab it. I was originally thinking maybe I'll use it for the Guess the Sound, which we still need to do, by the way. Although I don't know if I have anything left for you guys to guess. So maybe we'll skip it. But this horn I got in a box of stuff, and I do want to show you the close-up. I'm going to go ahead and refocus this because I want you guys to see this. Hang on. I'm going to refocus. Look at this thing. I love this horn because it's totally legit. Like, this horn was probably on a car at some point. Like, it's so old, right? It's all beat up and weird. It doesn't have the bulb. It used to have a bulb on it, right? Like you'd squeeze over here. Totally gone, just destroyed. And I know it's kind of hard to see, but it's just, I love this thing because it's I'm sure it's like 150 years old or something. It's just an old bulb horn, right? Is what we used to call those, or whatever they're called. They're still called, right? Isn't that cool? You see how it's like soldered in here? So that's it. And I just love stuff like this. I don't know. And I thought, and then I brought it out here and I was going over this chord progression, and then I realized that it's actually in tune. Not with all the chords, obviously, but let's see what note it is. So, yeah, it's a G. So it's a G, so it goes with the 1 chord and the 5 chord. So how can you not include that? Did you guys like that? I thought it was hilarious. So I just threw it in there. It's funny though. Yeah. So, and then if if somebody's in your way, you're trying to go somewhere, you just give them a little, man, it really smells like rubber too. It smells like an old tire, like you just shoved your face into a tire. Rubber. So that's the bulb horn. It's funny too, I think. It's the horn thing, exactly. And what did you say, Roseanne? If anyone's ever in the upstate New York, plan a visit to the Northrop Drum Museum. All right, lots of antique instruments. Yeah, it's really cool, really fun. So that could be one of the oldest things I own right there, that bulb horn, which is kind of weird, but it could be. And also, you guys, sometimes, and I did a whole presentation on this, believe it or not, on humor and laughter in music. It actually started as a music therapy conference presentation, but I think it's legitimate. Like, some sounds are just funny sounds, right? And we know what they are usually, like slide whistle, Acme siren, bulb horn, different weird sounds, right? And they're just funny by themselves. But then also we've got unexpected things, right? There's things where think PDQ Bach. Do you guys remember PDQ Bach, or are you familiar with PDQ Bach? If you're not, I highly recommend going and checking out some PDQ Bach stuff, because that's another kind of humor in music where they'll use a lot of like unexpected things, just weird things, out of tune instruments, or weird chord progressions or weird resolutions where the music just takes a left turn, but it's done to be humorous. So there's lots of ways that music can be humorous and or produce laughter, and that as a music therapist, even as an educator or somebody who facilitates recreational music making, it's useful because it's fun and it gives people a chance to laugh, of course, and blow off steam and maybe have some more cathartic experience. And it is a legitimate part of music making, There's also a thing called a musical joke, right? Or a quote where somebody will insert like a song, somebody will put a melody into another song, right? You're familiar with that. That happens. There's an inside joke where you might have a musical theme that only exists within a certain group of people, like a friend group or a band, or there's a certain, there could be so many things. Ways that we can use music and sounds and pitches and different timbres that can be funny or humorous for different reasons. So just something to look into. Yeah, and Roseanne said PDQ is awesome, really funny stuff. Yeah, it is. And I just want to say that it is funny, but musical humor in music is also is contextual. So what's funny to somebody who is familiar with quote unquote classical Western music, it might not be funny at all to somebody who's not familiar with that music. So you do, in some cases, you need to have a background of what the subject is so you understand why it's funny, right? So if you just heard it by itself, you might think, oh, well, that's kind of weird and interesting, and you may not realize it's being done as a joke, right? Which is okay. I'm just saying that because musical meaning is derived somewhat based on culture and, of course, experience and familiarity. So, but go listen to PDQ Bach. It's pretty funny stuff. And I have a question. What was from Drum Drew? What was a challenge in learning? Oh, was the hardest challenge in learning the 505 MK2? That's the looper. And what does one? Oh, you have one, and it's a decent learning curve to loop with just getting the correct timing. Yeah. And do I use a pedal? So yeah, I do have some videos on looping and making seamless loops. And I'll share with you one of the techniques that I learned in here, and I'll actually reproduce it so you can hear it. But yeah, the clock is ticking. We got to get Gimme Fives going. So yeah, Roseanne, please do that, and I'll answer the question. So one of the things I do, of course, I have a beat that I'm hearing in my headphones. You guys aren't hearing it, but I do have I always loop with a beat, some kind of beat. Usually I like a full drum beat. Sometimes I'll use a click, but often I want to get more of a feel, so I'll actually use like a drum beat, which you can hear in here, right? It has its own drum beats. So I put that in, and then when I go to record a loop, one of the things I found to be useful is to actually not start the loop on the downbeat. Don't start the loop right at the beginning. And when I recorded this one, I started on the second beat or after the downbeat. I started, like if you're counting it 1, 2, 3, 4, I started 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then I stopped on the downbeat because it's still recording, right? So I'm gonna do that again right now. And I find that when I do that, the loop has a much more natural sound and a natural cadence, especially going back into the downbeat. Whereas if I start on the downbeat, I have to end before the downbeat and not play the downbeat, which is actually hard, I think. And then if I do play the downbeat again, now I have a double downbeat, and usually it's not perfect, and it has a flam there. So I'm gonna re-record this beat, and I'll be listening to it, but I just wanna show you, I'll count it in so you can hear. And then I'm gonna record it. So let's do that. So here we go. I'm gonna start my background beat, and it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm gonna start the recording right here. So I don't know if you noticed that, but I started on beat 2, right? Now it's pretty smooth. A little bit of rattle in there. Right? So I feel like that's a pretty clean beat. So there you go. All right, do we have a Gimme Five? Can't believe the time went so fast, you guys. Urban Dervish. So what do we have? Tongue drum, ukulele, cajon, bongo, tambourine. I got bongos over there. Hang on. 5, 1, 4, 3. Okay, we can do that. It's gonna sound a little unresolved, but I'm okay with it. Hang on a second. Listen to the beat. All right, and are we good? What are we doing tempo-wise? And I'm gonna erase what I have in here because we don't have a lot of time, you guys. We got to get going. Okay, so ukulele, cajon, bongo, tambourine, tongue drum. All right. So maybe we'll do something in D minor. Oh, but you want to have 5, 1, 4, 3. So let me play that chord progression for you and see if you still want it. And you want it in 3, 2? You want like a triple meter? All right, so 5, 1, 4, 3. of cool. I'll go with that. D minor, well, so 5143 is in, let's go with what I just played, because that's, 5143 is referring to the major key, so I don't even know. I don't even know what D minor, how I do it in D minor. I guess I could do, yeah. 5, 1, 4, and then 3. Oh, is that right? I gotta think. Because 3, no, see, 3's, I'm gonna play this F. Do we like that? I kind of like it. Should we go with that? The first set sounds better. All right, we're gonna go with the first one. I'm going to keep the, just for the sake of time, I'm going to keep the beat the same, if you don't mind. And, yeah, don't think, just play, exactly. We'll see what we can do. All right, we'll see what we can come up with. Let's get the rock and roll sound going. Wrong chord. All right, friends. Thank you for the suggestion. That's all we have time for this week, but I appreciate you guys dropping in. Welcome back, Roseanne. Thank you for all your help. And remember, there's a lot of stuff on the channel. We also have a Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, World Drum Club is there. And as always, I appreciate your guys' support at patreon.com/Kalani. I'm posting some podcasts over there now, some talks for patrons. And if you guys want to join, you can join for free, but you don't get that much access to stuff. But think about chipping in. I really appreciate it. And appreciate you guys. Thank you, everybody. Rock on. Have a good week.